I see Bubby. I see Bubby with his SpongeBob mask. You gotta watch it.
Later, that'd be something like that. Be careful later.
Welcome everyone. My name is Mandy Kolkman and I am the Artistic Director at the Fort Wayne Dance Collective. We thank you for being here and for seeing our little students and supporting them in their artistic endeavors. It is so exciting to actually be able to perform live after this challenging year and a little bit last year as well. And we thank you guys for staying masked during the duration of the program so that we can continue to do live performances like this. Beyond being the artistic director for the Fort Wayne Dance Collective, I am also the teacher for the Arts Integration Residency at Washington Elementary. Arts integration is defined as an approach to teaching in which students construct and demonstrate understanding through an art form. In this type of program, students engage in a creative process which connects an art form and another subject area and meets objectives in both. The residency uses the arts as a vehicle to teach language arts, math, science, and social studies, and fosters greater student achievement levels. This residency also exposes students to art forms. I think I have to step over here, otherwise the speaker doesn't like me. But the residency also exposes art forms not usually experienced during a typical school day. Typically, not this year, the program is broken down into 2 whole sections. The first one being 16 weeks. And they start with an artist like myself coming in and doing art integrated lessons that focus on, in our case, language arts. We discuss the main idea of stories, identifying key details within a story elements such as character and setting, we all learned about that, remember that guys? And making predictions within a story. These lessons facilitate creative and critical thinking skills and create a deeper level of understanding. The second half of the residency usually allows students to apply the knowledge learned in the first 16 weeks and explore it more through an art form, in our case, dance. The process culminates with a performance much like what you are about to see this evening. But what you are about to see is a condensed version of the Arts Integration Residency. The students have completed both halves, a 32-week process, in just 13 weeks. So the staff at both FWDC, Fort Wayne Dance Collective, and Washington Elementary are so impressed with the students' progress and that they've done this in such a short amount of time and during unusual circumstances. Although this year was cut short, we are hopeful that this program and process will continue and return in its entirety next year. But tonight, we want to share a few things with you that we did learn during our 13 weeks together. The first thing that we did was identify that all arts, including dance, have the ability to tell a story. We then reviewed some of the stories and lessons that they learned in school with Miss Otto during their studies in the language arts. The students shared with me that they wrote an original complex story about superheroes, so each one of them wrote their own superhero story. They also shared with me that they created Flat Stanleys. Who in the audience participated in that Flat Stanley project? Awesome, thanks for participating, guys, woohoo! And then everybody else, does everybody know what a Flat Stanley is? Kinda, sorta? So Flat Stanleys are pretty cool. It is a book character, sometimes used in a classroom setting, to teach children about other cultures, places, jobs, and help them gain perspective. Together, we recounted some of the details from the Flat Stanley stories and their superhero stories, and everything that we learned about language arts and story creating to create our brand new, original, fictional story, the one you are about to see tonight. So they're going to dance out a story that they helped me write. Pretty cool. But in order to tell our story through a new art form, dance or the movement arts, I needed to give the children a new vocabulary.
dance terminology. So, we had to learn the 4 elements of dance. Every single dance movement incorporates at least one of these elements. The students know them through a poem. Nice job. So they learned that through a poem. Then they broke down the elements of dance. Students learned how to isolate each body part and how to take up space around them while using the element of time. So we've got the body, space, force, and time. And we're actually going to show you guys a sample of our warm-up and how we did all of that.
Start off by isolating just our head. Remember that it can be fast or slow or fast. Take up a lot bit of space or a little bit of space. However you want to move. And we can add our shoulders. Keep moving your head. Add our elbows. And they can move fast. And they can move. And they can barely move. So that was a warm-up that we usually do before every session to make sure that our muscles in our body as well as our brain are ready to focus and learn. After we learned the elements of dance and explored them a little bit through games and warm-up exercises like the one you just saw, we continued on and explored them even more. So we wanted to share a game that we've been working on where the students learn the difference between locomotor movements versus non-locomotor movements. Harley Quinn, would you be able to help us out with what the definition of a locomotor movement is?
A locomotor movement is where you travel.
Awesome. And we might have been too far away from the speaker, so Harley Quinn, thank you so much for telling us that. All of us know this information too. A locomotor movement is where you travel. So then what's a non-locomotor movement? I think, what's a non-locomotor movement? What makes a difference between that and a locomotor movement?
It means not traveling.
Yeah.
You're not
Not traveling, because we talked about how, thank you guys, that you can move, but we're not going. So that was our biggest difference, and we're going to show you that in a game.
Listen to directions. Listen to directions. Your directions are to find the perfect spot in the center here.
Perfect spot. Oh, and let's do the first one with no music. I'll get you started. 1,
3.
Alright, so they were just able to do that entire game to help learn how to be able to learn how to listen, so it was really enhancing their listening skills and working together as a team, because as you heard, sometimes people say things at the same time. So then they have to work as a team to figure out what they're going to do. We made it even trickier, and we can do it without talking. So give it 1 second. We're going to put on some music for you guys to dance to, and then you guys can take it over. To get into your lines on either side for our beginning of our piece with the walks. That game is so challenging because not only do you have to listen to what everybody else is doing, but you also have to be really aware of your surroundings. I mentioned working as a team, and we're going to see how they work together as a team throughout this school year to put together this original story that they helped me write and turn it into a dance. Now, we are missing some of our friends this evening, but we, as we always have always made everything work. So we're gonna do that for you this evening, and we are going to show you the choreography that we came out with for our piece, and I want you to enjoy Hometown Heroes.
People work hard and come together to make their community a better place. Those are the town superheroes. Whenever anyone is sick, we have nurses that help us feel better. People work in offices and laboratories. The town mayor and a photographer coming out of town hall. The mayor is very friendly and supports everyone in the community. Everyone in the community loves their job and understands that they play an important role in making the town thrive. Everyone, that is, except for Emmy the EMT. She couldn't help but compare herself to the superheroes and wondered how one person could possibly make a difference. One morning, in the offices of the local laboratory, scientists were analyzing the final results of the new medicine they just produced to keep the town free of illness. Just as everyone was packing up for the day, some suspicious characters snuck into the building. The robbers were there to steal the new medicine and sell it themselves to make a profit, so they began searching for it. Photographer? He must have been slow to pack up after taking his photos. This wasn't planned. No one was supposed to be in the building. The robbers huddled to make a plan to destroy all evidence that showed they were ever there. They decided the best way to make a clean escape would be to start a fire. Once the fire caught, it started to grow and grow and grow and grow. And then it started to spread across the city of Fort Wayne. Buildings around downtown. And they started to crumble, one by one. Oh no, there are business people in the town hall. Quick, Supergirl and Superboy, save them. Emmy the EMT was at the scene making sure everyone got to safety, but she spotted a problem. Another building was about to crumble with a person inside. She called for the town's superheroes, help, help! She quickly realized that they would not be able to get back from helping the others in time. She summoned up all of her courage and decided to help herself. Just as she pulled the person to safety, the firefighters arrived at the scene and were able to begin putting the fire out. The town and took in all of the destruction. Who could have done this? Just then, the local photographer came up to the scene. He showed the mayor a photograph he had just developed from his visit to the laboratory. The mayor was shocked. The photo clearly showed the culprits. Thanks to the photographer, the mayor knew exactly who committed the crime. He made the call to the officers to bring them in. But wait! One of the victims from the burning building had something she wanted to share with the mayor. She told him the brave story of how Emmy the EMT saved her life. How extraordinary, the mayor said. Emmy should be honored. Then, everyone went on their way to begin the plans to rebuild the city. The work that we all do together makes our city strong. The nurses and scientists work together to create a new medicine. The photographer documented important moments and caught the culprits. The firefighters put out the fires and stopped the spread. The officers enforced laws to protect our community. The mayor cared about his town and supported everyone's work. The business people recorded the ingredients of the medicine to replicate it, and the builders rebuilt the city. And thanks to Emmy's bravery, we have now learned that you don't have to be a superhero to make a big difference.
thank you guys for watching their performance of their original story about hometown heroes. And let's give them one more round of applause. So just to give you guys a little bit of context, when we were talking about superheroes, and we were also talking about the different places that their Flat Stanleys went, they created all of these different jobs. So we knew that we talked about City Hall and the city of Fort Wayne, and we talked about all the different jobs there. We also talked about laboratories and all the different jobs there. We're even able to identify that business people and not just scientists could work in a laboratory. We also talked about libraries and schools. We talked about many different jobs, but there were only so many of us. And then we also identified that in stories there's usually a conflict. And so we talked about this word conflict, and that there's usually a resolution, and we talked about that word as well. So we came up that something was stolen, and that's why they were looking around the laboratory, and we internally kind of talked about that maybe it could be something that the laboratory created to make sure that all of us felt really healthy. So it was really cool to kind of get their imaginations going and to see all that, and that they created all of these different jobs. That was so wonderful, and I loved having all of their help. And we really thank you guys for coming out and supporting them in performing arts, because as a performing artist myself, I'm able to make a full-time job from teaching about the arts. I go out to schools to do that. I also do get to perform and get paid. And so it's also kind of cool about how dance is a job as well. So it was a really unique process, and we all really loved it, and it's been a pleasure working with them, and I'm really grateful to Washington Elementary for supporting such a really cool program, and to Fort Wayne Community Schools for recognizing that need as well. So thank you guys so much for coming out. Is there any other notes? We have more.
Yeah, let's give everybody one more round of applause for such a great job. We do thank you for coming out tonight. We were glad that we were able to do it, or worried that it was going to be raining. And we were thankful that that didn't happen. It turned out to be a beautiful night so that we could still have this performance. The kids worked really hard, and we didn't want them to be turned away and not be able to do it. So thank you again to those of you too who contributed to their Flat Second Grader project. They learned so much through that process. It was great. We had such a great participation with that, and something we're looking to do again next year with our second graders probably too. So again, thank you for coming out tonight. If you could help us out by taking your chair and helping us to stack those on your rack, on the rack out here on the way out, that will help us to get this cleaned up quickly. But again, thanks for coming out, and have a great evening with the rest of it tonight.
I'm going to see if I can get my flat.
if you give me that video, I talked to Deanna about it. She said that we could send it to public access. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for doing that.
No problem.